Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Node Networks. In this tutorial, we are going to configure wireless LAN controller and thereafter we will see how we will manage the access point using this wireless LAN controller. So as we have discussed in our previous tutorial, we will be taking EWS5912 wireless LAN controller from Engenius and we will be having the two Engenius access points. So let's begin with the configuration. The very first thing what we are going to see is we should know the default IP address and default credentials for wireless LAN controller to do the initial configuration. Let's go to the browser very first. But before going to browser, let's see the default configuration for this device so that we can begin with the initial configuration and we will see what is the default IP address, and as per the requirement we will change the machine IP address. Machine IP address means the laptop or the PC from which you will be accessing the wireless LAN controller for initial configuration. So guys, the default IP for the Engenius wireless controller is 192.168.0.239 and the username is admin, password will be password. The very first thing we will just change the IP address of the network adapter of our machine. I am connected through a Ethernet cable. As we have discussed that this wireless LAN controller have 8 ports, Giga Ethernet ports, which are PoE and 2 SFP ports. So through one of the Gigabit Ethernet port, I am connected to my laptop. Over here, we will be using the same network address and it will be 192.168.0. Let's take it 10 0.10. The subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0. For now we don't need gateway. Click on save button. Let's close this and we will open the browser over here and start the configuration. We will browse through the default IP address, which is 192.168.0.239. Over here we will put the default credentials, which is admin, and the password is password. It is asking you that you have to change the password because it doesn't want you to keep the default password. We'll change the password from the default setting to some other. Click on save button. We will log in through a new credentials. Now over here you will see two options. The option number one is controller, the option number two is switch. The controller basically manages all the access point things which are connected to, or you can say which are manageable through this wireless LAN controller. As you can see, summary, access points, AP groups, this all thing we will see. But before that we will do the basic configuration. Let's go to the switch over here, and from here you will go to network settings. Going to network settings over here, what you will do, you will configure the IP address as per your network topology to access this particular wireless LAN controller. And I'm going to use this. Even in my lab, I have been using the same network scheme. I will say that 192.168.0.200 will be my controller IP address with the subnet mask as it is, and the gateway will be 1. And guys, I will like to add a node over here, that is whenever you are connecting a wireless LAN controller, either it will be below the firewall in your corporate environment. So when we talk about the firewall, over the firewall you will be configuring the firewall interface as per your network topology, as per your IP schemes, and thereafter you will be configuring a DSCP over there. Similarly, if you are putting this particular wireless LAN controller below the router, in that case, like let's say in my case, I have a ADSL router above this. So what I'm going to do is I will be having a DSCP server configured on this particular ADSL router. So what I'm going to do is from that particular Apart from that DSCP scheme, I'm using one of the IP address which is in this particular network. So for example, for now my network scheme is 192.168.0.0/24. So and my DSCP server configured is 192.168.0.152.200. Sorry, 199. So the 200 is a free IP over here and it is not being used in DSCP. So I'm using this particular IP address. I have configured the gateway DNS server. If you wish to put, you can put. Let's put it for now, or else even it can. You can put the DSCP server of your router, which is 192.168.0.1, and it will work for you. Let's save the configuration. Click on Apply button over here. Click OK. It is saying that IP has been changed. Please reconnect with the new IP. Click on OK button. Now it is again asking me for the username and password because it has changed the IP address. As you can see over here in the browser, now it has taken you to 192.168.0.200. Usually, guys, whenever you will do the changes in the IP address, it won't be accessible unless and until you change the IP address. But in my case, what is the case? My IP address in my network is 192.168.0.0/24, and the same network is being the default IP address is from the same network. So don't get confused over here. Now, just to justify this, what I will do, I will simply go to network and internet settings over here, and I will turn off the Ethernet adapter through which I am connected. I will save it and I will close it. So going to command prompt, if you will see my network IP address, it is, one second. Yeah, if you will see my IP address of the machine through a wireless connection is 192.168.0.175/24. Additionally, what I'm going to do is I will also remove my cable which is connected over here, but not now because I have to do the further configuration also. So over here, I will again log in. So basically what we did till now, we have changed the IP address of the wireless LAN controller and we have configured the IP address as per our network topology as per our IP scheme. So now the second thing what we are going to do is I'm going to connect one cable from the Giga Ethernet port of the wireless LAN controller to the ADSL router, and I will remove the Ethernet cable which is connected. If you will see now over here, yeah, I'm connected through a Ethernet. I am going to remove this cable now. I have removed the cable and I'm going to connect to the wireless network, my home network over here, and I am connected now. So as you can see, even from my network through a wireless, I am able to connect to the wireless LAN controller because I have taken this particular wireless LAN controller in my network. So this is how basically you will be doing a basic configuration. And moving on, now we will see how you will manage the access points through the wireless LAN controller. One by one, I am going to connect two of the access points to the wireless LAN controller. I mean, I will be connecting through a Giga Ethernet port, which is a PoE port. So guys, I have connected the cables and meanwhile I will pause the video till the time both the access points are booted. Once both the access points are power on, then what we are going to do is we will be going to the controller settings and we will see how you can configure the access points. As if now one of the access points is on the default factory setting, whereas the another access point is the one which we have configured in our previous tutorial. So anyhow, I will show you that how you will be controlling this access point through a wireless LAN controller and how you will be making a groups and much more things. So guys, I can see now both the access points are power on what we are going to do is now the next step is going to controller over here, go to the access points, and you can see over here one access point detected. Let's wait for some more time, and within few seconds up to 1 minute you can say one more access point which is connected will be detected, and we will just simply add both the access points. Now you can see both the access points are detected. Either you can add it one by one, or simply you can add it in bulk. Click over here and click on add button. How you want the access point to be configured. We have a DSCP network where the clients will be getting an IP address through the router. So we will say okay auto configuration, which is DSCP, and simply click on apply button. It will take some time for connecting and provisioning. Once it is up, then we will proceed further. Let's add this as well. Just I would like to add one thing. Although I have added two access point, but in my network already one access point was connected. So you could see that this one EWS355AP is being taken. The access point which is in the network is being getting provisioned automatically in the wireless LAN controller. It is going to take 1 to 2 minutes. So meanwhile, I will just pause the video. So guys, over here, two are the access points which we have connected now for our lab purpose. Amongst this, one is on the default factory setting, another one is the one which we have done in our past tutorial. And the third one is the one which got connected as it was running in the network. So what we are going to do is, the very first thing we will see how to configure the access point from the wireless LAN controller. Just add a note that if you're going to add one by one access point, definitely it will be a hectic job when you have to control a 50 access point in one controller. So that is the reason you have a AP group option. But before we proceed with the simpler method, let me show you how you will exactly do over here. Let's take this one of them, like EWS 355 access point. So if you remember, this was the one which we have done in the previous lab. Additionally, one more thing I would like to show is device name. Device name is the name through which you will identify the access point on your network. So let's say for the identification purpose, we will say that WAP ground floor access point this is. So we will give the name WAP GF. If you wish, you can change the user credentials for the access point, but however you are managing it through the wireless LAN controller, so it doesn't make sense if you wish to change or not. You will go to wireless radio setting, you will define the country wherever you are located, then you have option for the channels. You can keep these settings as default and let the wireless controller decide everything. Thereafter, you have a SSID option. If you wish to have a single SSID, then the common name for your entire wireless network, like wherever you go, it should have a same username and password. In that case, you will be using the same SSID and the password. So let's say you will say the SSID as Noor Networks, and then you will just scroll down. You don't have to do anything over here. If you want to hide the SSID, you can do so. But if you don't want to do any of the changes like capture portal, wireless MAC filter, if you don't want to define what is wireless MAC filter, I believe everyone knows that. If in case you don't know, I am adding one link over here where I have explained the wireless security and the MAC filtering everything in detail. So going to security over here, you will be choosing WPA2 PSK and the passphrase. Let's keep this the one which we have used earlier, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And simply you will click on save button over here. And finally you will apply the settings. Once you are done with this, you will see the changes are being reflected on the wireless LAN controller, where it will show you the new device name for the identification purpose. Additionally, once it is added, you will be seeing the SSID over here. Let's wait for the changes to be applied, and then we will just verify from our laptop itself over here. As you can see now, the changes are applied on WAP GF and it is online. We will see how the AP group is helpful. But before that, one thing what you have to do is as soon as you connect the access point in your network and it is learned by the wireless access controller, once it is reflected, better change the device name so that you can identify the location, or you can say that you can locate the access point according to the device name. Let's assume that EAP1300EXT, this access point, the default name, it is on the first floor. So we will say WAP FF and simply apply the setting. Apply change successful. So guys, it is online now, and now let's move to AP groups. This is helpful because if let's say you have created a AP group, so basically in AP group you will be creating a group and you will be configuring the settings. So guys, whatever settings you are doing in this particular group, and thereafter you add the access points, newly connected access points to this group, automatically the settings will be taken from this group. So you don't need to go to each and every access point and do the setting. So just think, like if you are adding a 50 access points within a single click, all the 50 access points will be configured at a very short time frame. Click on add button over here under AP groups. You will give the name of the group, and let's say we'll give Noor Networks Wireless Access Point WAP. Amongst this, what all access point you need to add? We will just select this both and we will click on add button to add this. Thereafter, it is asking for the user credentials. We will leave the settings as default. You have a LAN port setting over here, LAN 1, LAN 2. If you are using a VLANs over here, then you will be doing a VLAN configuration, or else leave it as default. Since we are not doing the VLAN configuration over here, then comes the wireless radio settings. Choose the country as per your location. These configurations are although optional. The main configuration is wireless LAN settings. Over here you have SSID 1234. For now in our lab we will be using only a one SSID. So what we are going to do is just click over here, keeping this both the box 2.4 and 5 gigahertz checked. Over here just change the name of your network, and we will say the name as Node Networks. Don't get confused. WAP GF, WAP FF are the device name which we have given to locate the device. SSID we are giving no network, so your wireless name will be basically no networks, and we have created a group with the name no networks WAP. So these are the different terminologies. Don't get confused in this. Whether you want to hide the SSID or you want to perform a VLAN isolation, if you have a VLAN, then you can give the VLAN ID. But in our case, there is nothing as such. Band steering, or we will keep the default setting as it is. And then coming to the security, we will say we want to go with WPA2 PSK option, and over here you will just give the password. Just add a note that if you change the password of this group, although you have configured the access point individually and later on you have added in this group, the settings will change, and the setting which is being configured on this particular group will apply to all the access point in the group. Simply click on save button over here, and finally you will apply these settings for this group. Over here you have advanced setting options like power LAN, wireless LAN 2.4 gigahertz. If you want to enable LED controls, these are basically whether you want to enable the LEDs for power LAN, wireless LAN 2.4 gigahertz, wireless LAN 5 gigahertz. And it is saying that only for EWS indoor models. These options are only for the EWS indoor models. Then there are options like RSSI threshold, management VLAN. We don't have any VLAN concept for now in our lab. So simply we'll click on apply button and we will wait for the configuration to be applied. Once the settings are applied, then we'll move further. And again, this is going to take some time. The apply change is successful, and over here you can see that group name with which we have created, no networks WAP, has two access points in it. Just click over here and you will see the member list as well. So going over here in access points, you will see that these two access points falls under a group no networks WAP. So hereafter, if you want to do any changes, simply what you will do, you will apply the changes on the group, and all the access points in this group will take those settings. Now, moving on, this is done, guys. Let's go to the summary option, and over here you will find the summary details like the system information, the IP address which we have configured initially 192.168.0.200. Then the serial number, system uptime is 49 minutes. It's managing three access points, and all those three access points are active. Then the second thing is monitor. If you will go over here in the active clients, if there is any active client connected, it will be shown over here. And one more thing, let's see if the new network is coming or not. Let's go over here and try to find our network, and you will see that yes, no networks is available over here. So this is the one which we have configured. If you will connect, definitely it will work, and it has an internet access as well. Then and one more thing, in active clients, when the clients are connected, it will give you the client name, client IP address, MAC address, and everything over here. Not only that, if you want to kick any client, I mean, if you want to just revoke the access, you will simply select that particular client, and you will click over here on the kick, and the access will be revoked from here. Then coming down, you have a system logs. So over here you will see controller log settings. If you want to by default it is enable, and you should keep it enabled so that you can find the logs, controller logs. Then the another option is AP remote log settings. So guys, if let's say you have a server where you want to store logs, and if you want to push that using FTP or TFTP, you can do so by simply clicking on enable button over here, then putting the IP address and the port number. That's all. Then comes the event logs. Whatever events are being generated, that will be shown over here. You can configure the email alert settings over here. If you go to email under alert setting, you will simply enable it. You will put the SMTP server IP address, SMTP port, and for authentication purpose, from email address to email address, what subject you want to define, you can do so by simply enabling this, putting the SMTP server, SMTP port number. Then there is an option for event bindings. Then going to visualization, this is the interesting topic. Topology view, it will give you the detailed overview of your network. If you will see, this is the topology view. As I told you that I have a router, and from that particular router below that I have connected my wireless LAN controller EWS5912. So this is my router basically, okay. And then this is connected to below router. I have wireless LAN controller whose IP address we have configured initially as 192.168.0.200. And from this particular wireless LAN controller, directly I have connected two of the access points, and earlier we have detected one access point. If you remember, I told you that this is the one, and this is directly connected to the router. This is basically I'm using for my home purpose to extend the network, but these are the two which we are using for the lab purpose, and now we have connected. So this is how it gives you a topology view, and this is the exclamation saying that topology of this access point has not been saved. So you can save the topology if you wish to save it. You have a map view. Thereafter you have a floor view, floor plan view. So guys, what you can do is, like, if you have a floor plan view, you can simply upload the image of your floor plan and just locate the access point for the detailed visibility. Then coming to the statistic part, over here the access point statistics, you will see over here. Since we don't have much more traffic hitting the access point, the traffic going to the access point, so it is not shown much more over here. But yes, if you have a proper network, huge traffic is passing through your wireless access point, then you can see those things over here. The statistics can be seen over here. If the wireless clients are connected, that will be shown over here. For now, I could see one of the wireless device is connected to one of the access point, that is EAP 1300. You can even see the real time throughput over here. So simply what you have to do is you have to select an AP for which you have to see the throughput, and the real time throughput will be shown over here for you. As you can see over here, it has started, right? And finally, coming to the maintenance part, you can schedule any task if you wish to schedule over here. Like you simply click on add button, and there are multiple tasks you can do, so like reboot the access point at this time, or change the switch PoE state, switch PoE reset, and so many schedulers you can add one by one. Not only that, like this particular action at what time you have to do, that also you can apply over here. Then you have a troubleshooting option as well over here. So simply you can just select it and you can start the troubleshooting. It will diagnose if there is any issue, it will show you. So self troubleshooting option is also available. Simply you have to select that particular access point and you have to click on start button. Then if there is any firmware upgrade or anything that you can do as like a bulk update, simply straight away from here. Then there is an option called one click update, which is really helpful. Like if you want to update, if you can see over here on the top, there is a one update available showing. So if it would be a standalone, you have to download the update from the Engenius side, as we have seen in the initial tutorials where we were configuring, and we have shown you that how you can upgrade the firmware. But when you are managing the access point through a wireless LAN controller, so whether it is the upgrade for the wireless LAN controller or for the access point, it is a simply one click update. You have to choose this and click on check for update. If there is new update, it will be again shown, or else simply you click update and it will be updated. You have an update setting, automatically check for update is enabled. Update server, if you have to specify, you can specify, or if you want to check online, that also is available. And the best recommended practice is to check online for updates from Engenius server, and this option should be enabled, automatically check for updates. So guys, that's all about the wireless LAN controller administration and managing of the access points. Before we conclude, we will also complete this option that the update is available. So how you can update this? Simply click on update button and the update process will start. Click on OK to confirm the update. So once it is updated, it will reboot the device and your connectivity will be restored. So guys, that's all in this tutorial. Once it is updated, it will be rebooted and the connectivity will be restored. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe it now and do share with your friends. Thanks and see you in the next tutorial.